Mathews-Dickey Boys and Girls Club began in 1960 to provide recreational activities to neighborhood kids. Well, today their goals are more focused, and with us today from Mathews-Dickey is Wendell Covington. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I think that's a good way to start things off because, you know, I've been around since 1960, but there's kind of a new strategic vision. Is that right?
Right, correct.
So what does that entail?
Well, you know, when I first started in 2015, November 30th was my first day. I was approached by thousands of people like, hey, you have large shoes to fill in trying to replace Martin Mathews. So I began to think about how can we capitalize on the history of the past, but also helping the organization to evolve into a new millennial organization. And so what made Mathews-Dickey special? What made all of these people in the community around the country enamored by the presence of Martin Mathews? And so I focused on that. And what did I need to do to make the organization evolve into 2016? And so what we did, we focused on athletics. Athletics is what gave Mathews-Dickey its foundation, but athletics with a purpose. Athletics that created values and gave young people hope and an opportunity to do something positive with their lives. So we've developed a new mission, but it really capitalizes on the old mission, which is the Blue Chips athletes. Intentional focus on developing young athletes, but introducing higher order thinking, supplemental academic instruction, character education. So we say athleticism plus scholarship plus character equals greatness. We've had some of the greatest athletes professionally come through Mathews-Dickey, but more importantly, we produce productive citizens. So most of our young people have used athletics as the platform to become professional in something else. And so our goal is to give young people power and agency and an opportunity to do something positive with their lives, and more importantly, get access to college, access to being self-determinant, and being able to transform our own neighborhoods.
I mean, you've articulated that very well, but it's something that I think a lot of people really take for granted with nonprofits. When you've been around for at least 50 years, you really have to evaluate the mission and the function of that mission in the 21st century. What stood out to you in terms of carrying on sort of the Mathews tradition, if you will, and what were sort of the hallmarks, but what stood out to you that you had to make it, I wouldn't say relevant in the 21st century, but different?
Different because, of course, you know, funding is always a challenge. Although funding levels have increased, more organizations are competing for those same funding sources. So what we know, national funding sources, regional, local, state, are looking for dollar for impact. So we have to be able to say with certainty that this is what we're doing to impact young people. So producing outcomes as opposed to outputs. Historically, in nonprofits, we've been able to focus on the what we do and the how we do. Now we have to measure the impact of what we do and how we do it. You know, Ferguson taught us a lot, taught us that it was more than a challenge with police brutality with our young people. It was about access to quality education. It's about access to gainful employment. It's about having opportunity to be exposed to things outside of your neighborhood. And so we have to be able to prove with certainty, with data, that we show evidence of what we do. And that is our new opportunity to help our organization evolve. And we plan to make this a national replication model.
You literally took the words right out of my mouth because I was going to say data so much now that, because even when you think back with the organization 1960, the ability with technology to track your results. But now you can start with a young student and literally track them
until they graduate high school and even beyond. And I think it behooves us to partner with our school districts, to give our young people hope. Well, you know, what bothers me the most is seeing that our young people face such challenges, a myriad of challenges on a daily basis. And sometimes we in the nonprofit realm and in the educational realm, we kind of operate siloed, so to speak. Now it's time for us to begin to pull our resources together and really transform the experiences for young people and give them hope towards something really productive. If it hadn't been for athletics, you know, I wouldn't be sitting here today. You know, sometimes our young people, the only mentor they may get is their coach.
That's true.
Right?
That is very true.
And so we've been around for 60 years and we plan to be around in perpetuity, and we want to make sure that we give young people that chance.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we return, we're actually going to talk about 2 events coming up that are very special, so please stay with us.